Hello and welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep IAS. Let's begin today's daily quiz with question number 1 on your screen. Consider the following statements regarding the rhinos in India. Number 1. Launched in 2005, the Indian Rhino Vision 2020 was an ambitious effort to attain a wild population of at least 3,000 greater one-horned rhinos spread over 7 protected areas in the Indian state of Assam by the year 2020. Second, wild-to-wild translocation were an essential part of IRV 2020, that is, moving rhinos from densely populated parks such as a Manas National Park to the ones in need of more rhinos like the Kaziranga National Park. Third, the 5 rhino range nations such as India, Bhutan, Nepal, Indonesia and Malaysia have signed a declaration called the New Delhi Declaration on Ancient Rhinos 2019 for the conservation and protection of the species. Which of these given statements is or are correct? The correct answer here is B. 1 and 3 are correct. The second one is wrong. Why? Because the translocation of the rhinos was done from national parks such as the Kaziranga, which are rich in rhinos, to the Manas National Park and not the other way around. And that is why the second statement is wrong. All the other two statements are correct. The Indian Rhino Vision of 2020 was a successful effort by the Government of India to increase the population of greater one-horned rhinos, that is the rhino species that is found in India. The reason why we are discussing this question is because a Hindu newspaper is giving a good news today, that is, a rhino population in the Kaziranga National Park has increased by about 200 rhinos now. We are talking about the population of greater one-horned rhino species that are found in India. This 200 increase has been seen in the last 4 years as per the latest census of the World Heritage Site. During this phase, the national park also lost 400 rhinos due to natural causes such as flooding, etc., while poachers killed 3 rhinos. Next, question number 2. Consider the following statements with regards to BIMSTEC. Number 1. Initially, it was formed with 4 member states with the acronym BISTEC, which stood for Bangladesh, India, Sri Lanka and Thailand Economic Cooperation. It was renamed BIMSTEC in 1997 following the inclusion of Myanmar. And third, with the admission of Nepal and Bhutan in 2004, the name of the grouping was changed to Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation, that is today's BIMSTEC. Which of these given statements is or are correct? The correct answer here is D. All the 3 given statements are correct about the BIMSTEC group of nations. As we know, BIMSTEC is a group of those nations which are mainly surrounding the Bay of Bengal, apart from nations such as Nepal and Bhutan that have also been given the membership of this group. The reason why this is in the news is because India's foreign minister, that is Mr. S. Jaishankar, is taking part in the BIMSTEC meeting ongoing in Colombo. The article tells you that BIMSTEC came into being in 1997. BIMSTEC has members such as India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, Myanmar and Thailand. The Charter and the BIMSTEC Master Plan for Transport Connectivity is also expected to increase trade amongst the member nations. Next, question number 3. The MNREGA wages are fixed according to the changes in Consumer Price Index Agricultural Labour, Consumer Price Index Rural Labourer, Consumer Price Index Industrial Workers or Consumer Price Index Rural Urban Combined. The correct answer here is A. It is CPI agricultural labor that is kept in mind while fixing the MNREGA wages. Many of the people assume that it is actually the rural laborer CPI, but that is incorrect. The reason why we are discussing this question is because the Indian Express had this news today. That is, the MNREGA wages have been revised. While some states have seen a significant hike, the other states have seen a very, very low hike. The article also says here that the MNREGA wage rates are fixed according to the changes in the CPIAL, that is a Consumer Price Index Agricultural Labour, which reflects the increase in the inflation in the rural areas because MNREGA is specifically aimed at the rural population. As per the article, after the new wages, the states and the Union Territory with highest MNREGA wages are Haryana with about 331 rupees per day, followed by Goa with about 315 rupees. Then we have Kerala with 311, Karnataka with 309 and Andaman Nicobar Islands with 308 rupees per day. As per the expert, this is extremely insufficient even today. Some of the lowest wages were seen in Uttar Pradesh, where the wage was only 213, that is 213 rupees per day. Next, question number 4. Consider the following statements with regards to the Sariska Tiger Reserve. Number 1. Kankarwadi Fort is located in the center of the reserve, and it is said that the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb had imprisoned his brother Dara Shikoh at this fort in struggle for succession to the throne. Second, the reserve also houses a famous temple of Lord Hanuman at Pandupol related to the Pandavas. Third, Sariska is the first tiger reserve to have successfully relocated Royal Bengal tigers in India. Which of these given statements is or are correct? The correct answer here is D. All the 3 given statements about the Sariska Tiger Reserve are correct. It was the country's first tiger reserve to successfully relocate the Royal Bengal tigers so that the population of Royal Bengal tigers can spread to other parts of the country as well. The reason why we're discussing this question is because of this unfortunate and huge fire that has been caught in the Sariska Tiger Reserve, and the Indian Air Force has sent its choppers to spray water over the Sariska Tiger Reserve. As per the article, Sariska has a total of 27 tigers right now. Around 9 tigers, including 4 adult tigers and tigresses, and 5 cubs have known to move around in the Akbarpur area mainly due to the fire. The tropical dry forests that are found in the Sariska area are prone to fire, especially during this time of the season. Next, we have a previous year question from 2020. In India, separation of judiciary from the executive is enjoined by, number 1, the preamble of the Constitution. Second, a directive principle of the state policy. Third, the 7th schedule. And fourth, it is a conventional practice. The correct answer, as you would know, is B. This is specifically written in the directive principles of the state policy under article number 50, that is 50. Article 50, as you know, says that the state must take efforts to ensure that judiciary is separate from executive. This is a part of the liberal intellectual directive principles mentioned in the part 4 of the Indian Constitution. Next, we have a fact of the day, and the big news for today's newspapers were that the northeast states of Meghalaya and Assam are now very close to resolving their border row. As you know, Meghalaya was carved out of Assam in 1972, and since then, there have been disputes about certain border areas between the 2 states. There are mainly 12 areas where there have been disputes ever since the state of Meghalaya came into being. The Union Home Minister Amit Shah has announced that out of these 12, at least 6 have now been resolved, and this is a historic day between the 2 states. The Home Minister said that about 70% of the disputed area between the 2 states is now dispute-free, and we will not have any issues going forward, and we are still working on resolving the issues on the other areas. Last year, the state governments of Meghalaya and Assam had recognized 6 areas that were under discussion, that is the Hamem area, Jizang, Tarabari, Boklapara and Khanapara Pilinkata. This is the first phase of these talks that have been going on between Assam and Meghalaya and were brokered by the Union Home Minister, that is Shri Amit Shah. At the end of the first phase of discussion, out of the 36.79 square kilometers of disputed area, Assam would get control over 18.51 square kilometers, while Meghalaya would get control over 18.28 square kilometers of the disputed area. Now, if you look at the 2 states, you would see that they share a very large border. In fact, Meghalaya and Assam share about 885 kilometer long border, and there are 12 specific areas, as I said earlier, which have been a part of the dispute. They include the Gazang Reserve Forest area, the Hamem area, the Khanapara Pilinkata area, the Upper Tarabari area, the Boklapara area. All these have been resolved in the first phase of the discussion. One of the major points of discussion between the 2 states has been the district of Langfi in the West Garo Hills area, because both the sides consider this part as a part of their particular state. Meghalaya has questioned the Block 1 and Block 2 of the Mikir Hills, which are now a part of the Karbi Anglong region, as why are they being a part of Assam even today? This matter will hopefully resolve even further in the coming phase 2 discussion. This is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.